Welcome to A Voice for Creators. I'm your host, Daniel Norton. Today I'm going to talk a little bit more about the book This is Marketing by Seth Godin. Very importantly, he has a running kind of theme or chant or mantra that he talks about a lot, which I think is really interesting. And it is, people like us do things like this. You might be saying, huh? Or you might be like, yeah. So what this means is people seek community. They seek sameness. They seek connection. And when you are marketing your services or creating something, in this case as photographers, we want to create something that is relatable to people. And who are those people? Well, they're often people like us. And when I say that, I don't mean the same age or social background or gender, but I mean people that want the same things. So for instance, they might be fans of the Spider-Man comic, right? They might be photographers. They might be people that like to hike, right? And then you can get even more people like vintage Spider-Man comics or Spider-Man 2099, that series, or the Spider-Man cartoon from the, 60s? Or maybe people like to hike in the Arctic or like to hike through deserts, or people like a certain type of photography, or they like to do photo editing, right? We can narrow down, we've talked about this before, to people that are like us, people that if we sat down with them and we were strangers and we just started talking, within a few minutes, we'd feel like we know them because we have this connection based on things that our similarities, basically, the way we feel about things. And this can be any number of things. So when you are creating or you're looking to create stuff that's going to reach out to a group of people, to your smallest viable market, you want to think about that. You want to think, what is it that makes me, right, as a creator, unique? Now, if you were doing, again, read the book, it's really good. I'll put a link in the show notes. If you were doing a product, obviously, it's what is the product, right? But in this case, you are the product, right? You are the photographer that wants to be hired to do the advertising campaign for the local bookshop, right? So what is it about you that is unique, that makes you you, that isn't as unique as you think because there's people like you? Maybe you love books, right? And that's the reason why that would be ideal, right? Maybe not. So it comes down to, what is it about you? Maybe you like vintage, or maybe you like modern. Maybe your style reflects this, and this is what the bookshop's looking for, right? It's a real sleek, modern bookshop that's trying to compete with, people that can buy books online whenever they want, or these crowded, giant bookstores. They want to have this real sleek place that has like kind of funky, cool, art books and stuff like that. And they want to hire somebody to shoot their advertising campaign. So their campaign is going to be targeted at people that want those things, right? That want the sleek, that want the unique, that want the new. And if you are like that, then you can use that as your means to get hired by those people. Now, if you're looking as a more consumer photographer, like you're a portrait photographer, then again, maybe you want to do photos of high school sports teams, right? Let's say, or even any kind of sports team, really. And you are going to have, so when you have your office where you meet with the people, or you have your galleries, you're going to have not just pictures that you've taken, but also maybe like posters from, famous football games or baseball games, or possibly signed memorabilia, right? This way, people who come into your space will see that and they'll connect with you. They'll be like, oh, you have a Reggie Jackson, baseball signed or whatever, right? And this then is a connection you're making. Now, before we get too far into this, let me say, this should be genuine. It should be you. Going back to the idea of you are your brand, right? This should be you, right? Don't say, well, I want to shoot sports people because it's profitable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a bunch of memorabilia because that will attract people. Because what you'll get is, sure, people will come in and some people will buy, but the people who actually connect with you will realize you don't know anything about it when they start talking about the subject. And what will happen is they may not just walk out, but they'll likely not come back because they didn't feel that connection. So think about it. Think about what's you. Don't think about what you think people want. Think about what you like, what makes you you, and put that forward in the marketing that you do, whatever that marketing might be, whether it be just talking to people, your website, any advertisements that you run. Think about what it is that is you, and be you. You be you and find people like you that do the things and want the things that you do. And this will create your group of fans, for lack of a better word, that will want to use your services and recommend you because they'll remember they had a great time because they sat there talking about comic books with you because that was awesome, right? And in theory, they'll have friends that also like those things and will recommend them. Now, obviously, not everybody is going to like every single thing, and you will have some clients that aren't exactly tagged into this, but this will help you get those like what they call super fans in the 1,000 true fans, or true fans, they call them, I guess. That's what you want, right? You want those people that are like, yeah, I connect with that person. I feel like we could be friends, right? I feel like this is somebody that I could hang out with if it wasn't just a business relationship here. And maybe you'll become friends with some of your clients, which is a whole other podcast, I guess. But the thing is, what you want to do is be you, because it's hard. You're the best you that you can be, right? Only you can be you, all that other stuff that you hear, because if you are trying to fake it all the time, it will eventually wear on you. And you won't be comfortable in your own shoes. And then you will find that you're having success and you'll be happy about it. And this is tough. It's a tough place to be in, because if you fake it just to do the things that you think people want, you will get success, but that success will be fake in a sense, right? The money will be real probably, and maybe the followers, but you'll have to force yourself every day to do it. Instead, create what you love. Work with people that have similar mindsets that you do. Work with people that love the same things you do. That way, as you create, chances are they're going to love what you're doing. You won't have to force it. Find those people like you that do the things that you do, and you will find great, long-lasting fans, customers, clients, and maybe lifelong friends. As always, I would love to hear from you. You can find a link in the show notes to reach out to me on Anchor and leave a voice message if you like. Otherwise, you can join my Discord server, also a link there. Join the Discord server, jump on over, let's have a conversation. You can send me a private message if you want me to read it on the show. I will do that. You'll also find a link to my Patreon if you want to support the podcast. Another great way to support the podcast is by sharing it with people like you, because people like you like this podcast. So go ahead and share the podcast with any friends you have that you think might like it. Even if they're not necessarily artists, they might find something from there. I would love to get some new people over here listening to the podcast and writing in. I love to meet new people via these mediums that we can do. The world's become so small in that way, and it's really, really great. In any case, I'll talk to you soon.